Something went on this week. It's been resolved. It happened yesterday, though. We didn't have a chance to cover it, and that was Jose Aldo. Well, here, let me back up a second. So, Khabib Nurmagomedov was supposed to fight Eddie Alvarez, which means Conor McGregor is going to be fighting Jose Aldo. That was the simple deduction that we had done there, the math on that one. Well, apparently that had gone even further, and Jose had got called somewhere and said, hey, you're going to be fighting Conor next. Well, the first thing you have to understand is that's a revolving door. Even when you get that call from the UFC, there's moving parts. Okay, you can't, let's say I'm at the UFC, I'm Joe Silva, I'm Dana White, I make that call to Conor and I give him my word on something. My word is as good as the information that I have at the time that we talk. And if I promise a guy a fight, well, I need the other guy to also fight. I need, there's some things that have to come together. You can't lie. Sometimes the UFC, Scott Coker, Ray Sefo, these guys that are leading our industry, they get accused of lying, of being dishonest. It's like, wait a second. If I tell you something and it turns out to not happen, guys, that's not a lie if things change. You do your best. You're trying to make things happen. You believe them at the time. I want to make that clear because promoters have been getting a bit of a bad rap. Again, whether it be Dana, whether it be Ray Sefo, whether it be Scott Coker, they get a bit of a bad rap at times. And when things change, you got to remake a phone call and go, look, I know what I told you yesterday, but some new information has come out, and here's what it is today. Let me tie this in with Jose Aldo. So Jose Aldo thinks he's going to get the Conor fight. That's the fight that he wants. When it gets announced that Khabib Nurmagomedov is not going to be fighting Eddie Alvarez, but rather Conor is going to be fighting Eddie, it then sends the wheels into motion, which means Aldo will not be fighting Conor. So Aldo says, I want to release, and he says, I want to release because I can't trust the UFC. I'm mad. And I would just want to offer this to Jose. Now, Jose has earned his right to his opinion. That is a stone cold. That guy can fight, man. He went 10 years undefeated. He's gone 11 years with only one loss, but it was to Conor. He wants to get it back. All right, I understand all of those things. I just don't want Jose to think he was lied to. Things change. That's a reality of life. Something that is true right now, boy, you could get a phone call and all of a sudden things change. You got shows, you got dates. There's other things that go on the level of production and marketing and television and pay-per-view. There's things that go on that are larger than any one guy, than any one fight, than any one phone call that he must have gotten that said, look, you're going to be getting this contest. So I just want to offer that to Jose. And secondly, I don't think Jose was swerved here. Jose is the interim champion. His next fight will either be to defend that interim belt or Conor will be stripped, which I personally think is going to happen. I personally don't think Conor's going back to 45. At which point Jose will fight for the undisputed championship. I don't think things in Jose Aldo's life have changed that much. I think he's putting a little bit too much weight into the fact that the UFC said, hey, we're going to get you Conor next. Start gearing up for that. And all of a sudden it's not. He's still got to fight. He's still got his contract. He's still going to get the money. He's still in the same weight class. He's still fighting for a championship of some kind. I'm just not sure that there's enough that's changed there that Jose should be overly upset. And, you know, there's two different worlds that go on. You got the world of the fighters, which is eat, sleep, breathe, compete, train for this guy, build your legacy, get redemption in Jose's case, if that's what his big motivation was. You've got all these things. But a bigger picture is what goes on in the office, which is moving the brand forward, moving the experience and the company forward, whatever brand or company you want to speak of. And you can carry that all the way over to the boxing world, Vince McMahon, whoever you want to do that's doing promotion and doing production and doing television. Things change. And I just don't want Jose to be too bent out of shape on this because I respect Jose for one. But two, I just wanted to take into consideration there are a couple of things and they have to come together. The fighter's mindset, which is not on business, which is not on pay-per-views and marketing and commercials and marquees and posters. But the company's is. And these two things have to align. And for Jose Aldo, listen, he was given his shot with Conor. It didn't go his way. He wants to get another one. He was offered that Conor fight. I'm just telling history the way it is. Not taking a side here, but this is what happened. Jose was offered that fight, and he said no. So now he's saying, well, now I'm ready for the fight, and now I want it, and now you told me I could have it. Well, Jose, that goes two ways. You also at one point said that you would do the fight. You then called the next day and said, I won't do the fight. That happened. I'm not piling on. Jose's a very nice guy. The couple of times, great guy, tremendous fight. Not piling on him. But let's just make sure we tell the story the way that it happened. The shoe is now on the other foot. The company had some plans. They made a call. They said, this is what we're going to do. Things changed. Plans changed. The company made a call. They said, this is not what we're going to do. Jose did the exact same thing to them. He did I'm telling the exact same story. Jose made a call. He said yes. He signed a contract. He put wheels into motion. He made a call. He unwound the contract. Things had changed. That doesn't make Jose a liar. But it also doesn't make them a liar for things change. I just want to offer that. I just want Jose to consider that, cool down, realize you're still one of the greatest talents the sport has ever seen, one of the greatest talents the sport has. You've got a world championship title right now, current. You're going to have a big fight coming up. All sorts of names getting thrown in the mix there. Good things are going to happen. Cool down a little bit.